It is now my delight to introduce Classical Corner, and I'm going to let Mark Janas introduce this fabulous lady.
Yeah, in just a minute, I'm going to, I'm going to introduce her since she's here now. Please welcome my good friend, the fantastic soprano, Fernanda Brea. Maria and I go back a few years. I met her when she was a student at Manhattan, and I was teaching there, although we didn't meet in class. We met at an opera open mic that I was playing, and she's one of those people when you're playing an open mic where you go, who is that? Wow. So anyway, so we've been friends ever since, and I asked Maria if she would sing with us tonight, and she said yes, and she's working on a lot of things right now. Interesting enough, this first one and the last one, I guess, really are from two different versions of the Barbers of Ill, right? You want to tell them a little bit about this first piece and the character and what's going on? It's a famous piece of a famous aria.
Mm-hmm. So, thank you for having me again. It's been a while.
Thank you for gracing us.
No, I'm very happy to be here. So the first aria I'm singing is Una voce poco fa, which is, I am a soprano, and it's usually sung by mezzo, so I am singing it instead of in Mi major or E major, I'm singing it in F major. I'm doing a show called El Barbero de Sevilla, the Barber of Seville, but it's zarzuela. So we were talking about how interesting zarzuela is because it's so similar to musical theater. So there's a story and singing, but there's also dialogue. So we're doing the dialogue in English, which is so hard for me. As you can tell, I have an accent. I am from Venezuela, and so it's always harder for me. And everybody else that is not from a Spanish-speaking country is struggling with the Spanish part. So I feel kind of good about that because I'm not the only one struggling, and we can all help each other. So Una voce poco fa is this woman. Her name is Rosina. She's in love with a count. She doesn't know he's a count. And her tutor is a really fresh old man who wants to be with this young woman, and it's wrong. And she doesn't want to be with him. If she wanted to be with him, that's okay, but she doesn't want to be with him. So she's saying how, you know, I am a very nice woman, but do not mess with me. And yeah, so I like that. Then should I introduce each piece or?
Well, we'll do that. Yeah, we'll talk about each piece as we get to it.
Perfect. So this is Una voce poco fa, and it's new for me because I am not a mezzo, I'm a soprano. So bear with me.
I told Maria, I said, if there's a place that you can try out a new aria, it is here, right? Because that's what we do here. So. Let's cover that again. My right hand garbage. Is that like the first time you sung that for an audience?
Yes.
Wow.
I'm just working on it, so.
Yeah. Well, that's what we are a workshop. So I'm awfully glad that that you feel good to do a brand new aria, and you're doing it wonderfully already. My God, just wait. So you want to tell them about our second aria? That's Wine, Women, and Song, right? So I mean, we've got the woman and the song. There are no references to wine, but hey, we're all drinking, so it's okay, right? So this is a piece called Depuis le Jour, and tell them a bit about what's going on here.
So this is one of my favorite pieces. It's called Depuis le Jour for the opera, lovers. It's from the opera Louise, which is not put on stage at all, I believe. But the aria is so beautiful that many sopranos just take the excerpt and sing it. Depuis le Jour means after the day. It's after the day she made love with her man for the first time. She's a very strong woman as well. She runs away from home and starts her life with this man. And it's just, everything about the aria is, in a poetic way, everything that happened the night before. So I love it. Enjoy.
Now we're getting back to the Barbara Seville, but this is a completely different animal. This is from a piece of this, the style of this is called zarzuela. Am I saying it right? Zarzuela. It's with a Z, and although some countries spelled with an S, I discovered. But it began in Spain in the 1600s. There's a Baroque zarzuela kind of movement, and then later on the Romantic zarzuela movement. The Baroque went in at about 750, the Romantic started about 1850 and went to 1950. But basically, this is the Spanish culture equivalent of operetta or music theater. Because what they did is they took musical pieces from popular songs and from opera, from all kinds of sources, and they also had speaking, and it was a dramatic context, so there was a story, and they tried to find musical pieces that would support and push the story. So it was almost like an older version of Mamma Mia. You get my drift, because they took extant music and they pulled it in and they had dialogue and they made a story. But this was a very popular form in many of the Spanish cultures, particularly Cuba, and it traveled there and traveled to South America, and it's done. And Domingo sings a lot of this. I mean, some of the famous tenors sing a lot of zarzuela, and it has a particular style. It has a lot of give and take in the tempo. There's a lot of bending of tempo, a lot of freedom of expression, but a lot of Spanish fire, that wonderful kind of sense of the guitar influence. So this is another piece done from the Barbara Seville. You want to tell them a little bit about what's being said?
Yes, so this piece is when she finally makes it, so we all can relate. She's been waiting to make her debut, and she finally is given the opportunity, and they went to Burgos, and this is the variation, the aria with variations that her teacher writes to her, and so that she can impress the impresario that she's gonna sing for. So it's really cute. And she talks about how beautiful she is, how she controls men. So again, it's about all of that, and honey, and lots of very sensual words. And she is also a very strong woman. She stands up against her father and tells him that she's gonna be an opera singer. He doesn't want her to be an opera singer. I understand why. I mean, it's a hard career, but it's good. It's good. Enjoy, guys.
So